Welcome everyone, Farmer Cop here. This is going to be the fact sheets for Fact Sheet Friday. This is round 6 of fact sheets. We are only a few weeks away from release. What is it, about 6 weeks now? Maybe just less than that? But it is going to come up faster than we think. So, yeah, we have some really cool stuff to show you. If you guys have not pre-ordered the game yet, please do so down in the description. If you'd like to, you can pre-order up till the game is actually released. And if you do that, you get the Macdon pack, which is the pre-order bonus, which I'll put up on your screen right now. Which comes with all the stuff that you need to do swathing right out the gates. Yeah, it's not much, but if you're going to buy the game anyways, you might as well just get the pre-order bonus for free, because it'll probably be a paid DLC or a paid add-on or something later on, so might as well do it. But yeah, let's go ahead and jump into the fact sheets and take a look at those. So first off, this week we have the John Deere 9RX series and the Bednar Swifter Disc XE18 400 Mega. So pretty cool. Now, I will say we can't really see much of the Bednar in this photo. I'll show you guys a different photo here in a second of both of these in the store, and I'll show the Swifter disc a little bit better here. But the John Deere, we do have a good look at that. The 9RX, this is obviously a tractor. It's going to cost you $545,500 for a starting price. It has between 539 and 691 horsepower, depending on the engine configuration. It does have a power shift transmission and holds a whopping 1,490 liters of fuel. Quite a bit of fuel there. I'm sure it will burn through it quite quick, well, relatively speaking, since it's going to be such a high horsepower engine. But it will drive at 40 kilometers per hour or 24 miles per hour. So nothing too crazy fast, but it is a behemoth to move, and at 25.5 tons being its weight, that is no surprise. The Bednar, the Swifter Disc XE18 400 Mega. I'll show you the other photo on your screen now. That's of it in the store. This is a disc harrow. It is $194,500 to buy and requires a massive 580 horsepower to run, which means the John Deere 9RX, if it was in its lowest configuration for the engine, would not be able to theoretically pull it. Now, I'm sure you could probably still get away with it, but it wouldn't meet the minimum recommended horsepower, I would say. It's not usually a required horsepower. I'd say recommended is more like it, because usually you can get away with a little bit less than that, but it's not going to pull it as efficiently, and I would stay away from hills at all costs if you have anything less than 580 horsepower. But that thing is going to weigh 21 tons, which is crazy. It weighs almost as much as that tractor does. Well, I mean, 4.5 tons difference is quite a bit of weight, but not really when you're talking about 10, 20, 30 tons here. So yeah, this whole setup is over 40 tons for sure, which is pretty crazy. It has a working width of 18.4 meters, which is quite large, and will work at 18 kilometers per hour or 11 miles per hour. So quite cool. Cool to see some of the just kind of, I know this isn't like crazy advanced stuff. Nothing super crazy is being shown off in the fact sheets, at least most of the fact sheets, but it's cool to see some of the equipment that we're getting with the game. So yeah. Moving on, we have the Manitou MLT 841 145 PS Plus. So pretty cool little telehandler here. And again, this is a telehandler, as I said. It's only going to cost you $139,000 to buy. It does have, it has 141 horsepower and has a manual plus power shift transmission, holds 126 liters of fuel, and will drive at 40 kilometers per hour or 24 miles per hour. And it weighs 9.2 tons, which is actually pretty heavy, I would say. But that's probably a good thing, since its job is to lift things. So pretty cool to see a telehandler like this one come into the game. I think this will be good for getting stuff done around the farm and doing whatever you guys need to do. But you can see it loading bales there on a Farm Tech trailer, some straw bales it looks like, and that's a nice flatbed trailer there in the background, which will, I'm sure, be coming to the game as well. And we're probably on Riverbend Springs based on kind of the environment. Looks like that's probably where we're at, but still pretty cool to see that. And the next one up here is probably one of the most exciting fact sheets for this week. This is the Oxo EPD 540E, which is the pea harvester. This is going to cost you $571,000 to buy, which is quite expensive. It's going to be expensive to get into spinach, peas, or green beans, but rice, the new crop, to get into doing the wet rice version of it, or normal rice, depending on how you want to call it. I usually call it wet rice and dry rice to help me differentiate between the two. And if you don't know the differences between those, wet rice, you just flood the field, then plant. Dry rice, you plant, then flood the field, and then later drain the field and harvest it. But anyhow, moving on from that, I digress. Talking about a pea harvester, for goodness sakes. The wet rice and stuff like that is a lot cheaper to get into. The harvester's only $100,000 and the planter's $25,000 versus these guys, which you're looking at, you know, over $500,000 just to get the harvester. And that's not including the planters and tractors and other stuff. You need to work the field. So yeah, but this thing does have a crazy amount of horsepower, 396 horsepower, has a variable CVT transmission, holds 950 liters of fuel. It will drive at 25 kilometers per hour or 15 miles per hour, and it will hold 3,700 liters of peas, which is not a ton. I'm gonna be honest. That's not a lot. I feel like it should be more than that. And I'm wondering, it can't be a typo. Surely it can't be like 37,000 liters, but 3.7 meters cubed is what it says, which would be 3,700 liters. So not as much as I would say. So I'm a little disappointed in that, and to be honest, but I'm sure it's realistic to what it is in real life, which is why it probably has that lower capacity. It is going to weigh 23.3 tons, not quite as heavy as the John Deere 9RX, but still pretty heavy. Has a 3.8 meter working width, which is about standard for something like this, or this kind of a dedicated harvester. It is going to harvest at 10 kilometers per hour or 6 miles per hour, also pretty standard for this. And again, it's going to harvest your peas. It's a dedicated pea harvester. So cool to see that. A little bummed about the how much it holds there, the capacity of it, but I'm sure there'll be modded versions or something of it that can have a ridiculous capacity pretty quick. But anyhow, moving on, our last fact sheet for this week, we have the Silo King Trailline 4.0 System 1000 Plus. I don't know if we've had this. I don't think we've had this specific one in base game before. I know there's been mods out with large Silo Kings like this. I don't think we've had this big of one before in base game. But correct me if I'm wrong. I could be completely wrong. I definitely don't think we had it in FS22. I'm almost completely sure of that. I actually have the game pulled up right now, and I'm just so curious about it. I don't think we did. It's really cool, though, to start seeing some of the stuff that would be used for crops and everything like that. So it's really cool to see that. And looking in the store for the FS22 base game, we have the Trailline 4.0 Premium, which only holds 22,000 liters, but nothing else. We do have the Ferguson in there, which is a little bit bigger, but nothing quite like this. This is absolutely insane here. So this thing's going to cost you $80,000 to buy. It requires 240 horsepower and holds between 35 and 45,000 liters. Way more than that pea harvester. And this thing weighs 13.7 tons. And then down here at the bottom, we have a few interesting icons, and I want to note some of these. We do see, well, on the left-hand side, we see TMR. So that's your total mixed ration. That's a mixture of silage, grass, silage, hay, and straw, if you're new to the Farming Simulator franchise. Then moving on over, we have the icon for silage. Obviously, if you just want to put silage in it, you can do that. You have to put silage in it to start mixing the TMR anyways. And then the next one to the silage that looks very similar to TMR, that is going to be your forage. That's where you don't get the mix ratio right when you're putting silage, grass, or silage. I keep saying grass, silage, hay, and straw together. If you don't get the ratio right, you'll get forage, which you can still feed the cows usually, or you can still feed the animals, but it's not as good for them as TMR. Then we have mineral feed next to that, so you do see that mineral feed's coming back. Hopefully it actually does something in FS25. It's more of just a roleplay thing, or if you want to use the auto-feeding barn, you're required to use it then. But otherwise, there's not really a reason for it. And then we have hay there, and then straw. So all the standard ingredients for TMR. But anyhow, guys, and we do see the cows in there. They look really happy, a couple different types of cows. And we do see the texture for it looks like TMR that they're being fed, which is a lighter texture than we're used to, which is kind of cool to see something a little bit different there. So maybe with that lighter texture, it requires a little bit less silage. I don't know. We'll kind of have to see. But anyhow, guys, that is going to be the fact sheets for this Friday. If you guys enjoyed the video, please drop a like down below and hit that subscribe button up on the screen to join the Farmer Cop channel. And don't miss any future videos, so turn on the notification bell. And again, pre-order the link, or use the pre-order link down below if you haven't pre-ordered the game yet. I think it's worth it. If you want to wait, feel free to do so, but it really is a pretty cool game, and I think we're going to like it. But anyhow, I'll see you guys next Friday for the next set of fact sheets.